If anything, the day after police arrested a 16-year-old student in a slashing and stabbing rampage inside a suburban Pittsburgh high school, there were more questions than answers about why he did it. In all, 21 students and a security guard were hurt. One of the students remains in critical condition, while others in Murraysville, PA, try to piece together what happened and why.
I'm never going to look at that hallway the same. I'm never going to walk down it the same way again. I'm always going to be haunted by that vision of my best friend getting stabbed right in front of me.
One day after the horror in the hallway, Franklin Regional High School remains closed, and the kids who went to school with 16-year-old suspect Alex Carwile traded stories about the chaos and terror just as the school day got underway.
I was just so surprised I could barely move because I got stabbed in the back, and it was just had to have help going to the next room.
The fire alarm went off. I was walking over towards the exit, and there was blood all over the floor.
There was blood right where the double doors are, all over the wall.
Police say Carwile used 2 large kitchen knives, which he plunged into victims, apparently at random. The most seriously wounded, a 17-year-old senior, struck just millimeters from his aorta. It was a brave tackle by Assistant Principal Sam King, who lived just a few away from the suspect, that ended the ordeal.
Mr. King immobilized him. He pinned him down. I jumped on top of him as well and just held down his wrists and arms.
Cuffed by a school security guard, Carwile reportedly told police he wanted to die. But so far, no clear motive for either authorities or his stunned family.
My prayers go out to everyone who is injured today, and I hope they recover as quickly as possible.
They're puzzled. They never saw this coming. Never saw it coming. This is, as I said, this is not a dysfunctional family.
Carwile's lawyer told the Associated Press his client had no history of mental illness and had never been in trouble before.
He's confused, scared, depressed. In the next few days, we'll try to figure out what the heck happened here.
Carwile's been charged as an adult with 4 counts of attempted homicide and 21 counts of aggravated assault. Officials praised the bravery and quick thinking of students who pulled a fire alarm to evacuate the school, others who rushed in to the victim's aid.
There are a number of heroes, students who stayed with their friends and did not leave their friends.
A shaken community gathered to pray for the victims and for answers. Described by his schoolmates as quiet, something of a loner, Carwile is now being held without bail.
Our investigation will be lengthy. It'll take time till we get everything put together to solidify the case, but we'll keep you updated as we go.
A violent attack, the motive still a mystery. Joining us is mental health expert Karla Carwile. She's also co-founder of something called the OnePatient-Global Health Initiative. We appreciate your being with us. I want to make clear here that you are in no way involved in this particular case, but to help us to try to understand, because so many people are trying to, why a young person would do something like this and then immediately announce, I want to die.
Well, I certainly think that that is the question of the day, and such a tremendously difficult thing for these families involved, including his. But I think that one of the things that I heard today on the news was the school administrator identifying that there was absolutely no bullying involved, as well as this young man's attorneys. And I'm thinking I would be a little bit less inclined to dismiss that so quickly, given the fact that there are an awful lot of signs that are pointing towards that way. I believe that there were some stories earlier that came out from some of the students that said, in fact, this young man was being bullied. And if we take a look at it from a bullying standpoint, some of the things that we saw, his flat affect, where he may have very well just disconnected himself from the physical violence of what he was actually perpetrating at that point in time.
Can I stop you there and ask you what you mean by flat affect?
Sure, just an absolute flat affect in the terms of where he showed no emotion. And I think that has been something that's resonated multiple times throughout these interview processes, is that this young man showed no emotion, and that was more frightening to some of the onlookers than the actual act itself, was how frightening he had become at that point, this young man who was otherwise so quiet and reserved.
To get to To get on to your other point about whether there may have been bullying, things that were not seen, in some sense, does this have to do with maybe other kids have better perspective of what's going on, even if they're not close to a particular student? They might have a better perspective than administrators. How is that possible?
And you know what, and that's a really good point, because the fact is over 30% of the students in the United States have identified that they in fact have participated or been a victim of bullying. And I think that many of those things are being seen at a time where administrators and teachers are not currently in the picture, whether it's happening on the school grounds or outside of the school grounds. Look, when teachers come to school in the morning, they do an amazing job, but they start out their day as social workers. And every child in there has an issue. So oftentimes they have 30 to 35 children in a classroom. And what you'll see is the children who are the top achievers and the children who struggle the most are typically the ones that gain the attention of the teachers. And there's an 80% range in there that, by no fault of the teachers, they're just really not engaged with those students in the way that they are the others, because really there's no problem with them. So therefore, there can be things that'll pass.
Right, the quiet one can go unnoticed.
They fall through the cracks.
Karla Carwile, mental health expert, we appreciate your joining us here tonight.
Not a problem. Thank you.
City of